The first thing I did after being reborn was skip classes like crazy to work out, even if I had to face my teacher's threat of failing the course. And my girlfriend Liu Ruyan breaking up with me, I didn't care at all. Because as someone who's lived twice, I know in just one more month, all kinds of devil fruits will pop up across the globe. Whoever gets a devil fruit by then will gain superpowers. Even though I got superpowers in my past life, I still ended up dead because my devil fruit ability was garbage and I was way too out of shape during the zombie horde attack. Now that I'm reborn, I definitely gotta use my foresight advantage and grab every opportunity I can get. From what I remember, there was a devil fruit in my past life at a fruit shop near my school named You Are Too Beautiful. But I had no clue exactly when this devil fruit would actually show up. So after I was reborn, I come to this fruit shop every day to buy some fruit and also check if that devil fruit has shown up yet. I walked into the shop. I did my usual round of the whole place, checking every single fruit I saw. When I got to the peach section, 2 short purple twigs suddenly caught my eye. I moved away the huge pile of peaches on top, and the thing attached to the purple twigs was right in front of me. That's it. It looked exactly like the fruit in my memory. This is the devil fruit of Kaido, one of the 4 emperors from One Piece. It was reported publicly later on. The strongest devil fruit with a known exact location. Hell yeah, I was over the moon. I paid and left with a bag of fruit. Right after I walked out the door, a middle-aged guy with a super buff build walked right toward me. Right away, a face from my past life matched the man in front of me. It was the user of the Azure Dragon Fruit from my previous life. I secretly thought how lucky I was. If I'd been even a second later, that Azure Dragon Fruit would have been bought by this guy. I went back to my dorm. I didn't hesitate any longer. Picked up the fruit and took a big bite. It tasted like a slop bucket mixed with a septic tank that had been swabbed with a sour, stinky rag before being stuffed into my mouth. It was so disgusting I almost puked, but I forced myself to swallow the pulp. Then I steeled myself and just ate the rest of the peel, the pit, the leaves, and the short purple twigs all down. After a long time, I took a deep breath. The seed of a miracle has been planted. Now I just have to wait for that miracle to happen. Then I pulled out my phone and started scrolling short videos and Tiba posts. I hopped on all the major short video platforms and forums to scroll for a while longer. Then typed an ID into the search bar and clicked on the first video. Hey guys, see this Rumble Rumble Fruit? I'm auctioning it in the comments section. Highest bidder gets it. My heart raced when I saw this, even though I already ate the Azure Dragon Fruit and can't eat a second one. But when the apocalypse hits, and everyone knows how valuable devil fruits are, you can't get one even for a ton of money. It's the most valuable trade resource out there. Even if I don't trade it, I can give it to my parents or my little sister to eat. Besides, it's not totally impossible to find a way to eat a second devil fruit, but that requires strength, luck, and good fortune. I didn't leave a comment. I DM it directly to the guy named Noble Boss Mao, the blonde dude. Dude, this fruit replica looks super well made. Looks just like the real thing, I'll take it. I bet you know too. Everyone in the comments is just messing around. Just name your price directly. If it's reasonable, I'll buy it right now. Dude, this is a real devil fruit. Asking for 1,000,000 yuan is totally reasonable, right? If it's real, why didn't you eat it? If you actually want to sell it, give me a normal price. Or I'll block you. Fine. 100,000 yuan. Final offer, 1,000 yuan. For a figure this quality, that's the highest price you're gonna get. Ugh, I thought I could scam more money out of this. But 1,000 yuan is still okay. Enough to have fun for a while. Fine, send me the money, and I'll ship it to you. You're not a store or anything. What if I send you the money, and you don't send me the goods? Give me your address. I'll come meet you to trade in person. The blonde guy didn't care at all. Sure, we can do it in person. It's not like he's gonna rob me, right? Once I got the address, I drove full speed the whole way. It only took me 2.5 hours to get to the county bus station. Yellow hair mentioned, "You're the guy buying the devil fruit, right? Show me your payment QR code. I'll scan and pay once I check if the fruit is real. Pay first before you get the goods." What, you think I'm gonna stiff you? This is your turf after all. Yellow hair thought that made sense. He was pretty well known among local thugs in this area. If this guy dares to skip out on paying, he can call a whole crew of buddies with one call. I took the bag from his hand and pulled the fruit out of it. My heart started racing unconsciously. This is definitely a real devil fruit. I immediately scanned the code and sent 1,000 yuan to Yellow Hair. I took the fruit and headed back to my school. If this small county had train access, I would have just gotten on a train and gone home right here. On the way back, I pulled out my phone to scroll through short videos, when a video suddenly caught my eye. Recently, many patients have suddenly fallen into comas, and a lot of people have strange spots appearing on their bodies. Experts say this is most likely a new type of flu, and urge everyone to wear masks properly and take proper protective measures. After seeing this news, my heart dropped. Comas. Lots of people getting spots on their bodies. These are all signs of the apocalypse breaking out. When I got back to my dorm, I grabbed my pre-packed luggage and was about to leave. Right at that moment, a scream suddenly came from behind me. Tons of people passed out on the ground, and spots started appearing on their bodies. At the same time, an indescribably terrifying pressure descended, and everyone felt their hearts sink. Then all the unconscious people started mutating horribly. Their eyes were bulging out of their sockets. Their nails grew sharp and long like wild animals' claws. And they rushed out of every dorm like zombies. Countless students ran screaming outside for their lives. At that same moment, I felt a surge of power awakening deep in my bloodline. That power was wild and incredibly strong. It was the power from the devil fruit I ate earlier. The power of the Azure Dragon emerged within my body. I tilted my head back and roared, letting out a loud, clear dragon roar. Azure dragon scales appeared on my skin. Dragon horns grew out of my head, and my hands and feet turned into dragon claws. My entire body was starting to turn dragon-like. This sudden transformation immediately shocked all the students in the hallway. They thought I'd turned into a monster just like the zombies. After turning into this half-human, half-beast form, my physique improved drastically. My strength, defense, speed, and healing ability all got an enormous boost. Right then, 2 zombies behind me roared and lunged to bite me. I reached out my dragon claw and swatted both of them flying easily. Another zombie rushed out of a different dorm. I just opened my mouth and spat out a stream of heat breath. The scorching flames instantly engulfed the zombie in front of me. But after that one heat breath, I felt my stamina drop a lot immediately. Devil fruit abilities rely on stamina. Even when you unlock hockey later on, it still uses up stamina in the end. The first divine gift period is a body tempering phase. I'm not a member of the Oni race like Kaido, and I definitely don't have Kaido's monstrous physique. So even though I have the Azure Dragon Fruit, the power I can wield is way weaker than Kaido's. I pulled a baseball bat out of my backpack. This baseball bat was a custom, thickened, weighted version I ordered specially. It's perfect for bashing zombie heads in. I swung the baseball bat, with tiny streams of electricity wrapping around it. The Azure Dragon Fruit lets you control 3 natural elements, wind, fire, and lightning. Though its power isn't as strong as Logia-type fruits, it's more than enough to boost attack power. I was mowing down zombies left and right in the hallway, and quickly caught the attention of other students. It was exactly because I kept taking out zombies that those students got a chance to catch their breath. My electricity-wrapped baseball bat worked just like the Thunder Bagua move. I one-shot every zombie that came at me with a single swing. But I didn't get lost in the joy of killing. I fought while rushing downstairs as fast as I could. There are 2 top priorities right now. First, find a way to get home. In this life, I won't let my parents and my little sister get hurt ever again. Second, kill 100 zombies as fast as I possibly can. Because if you kill 100 zombies by yourself, the divine gift space will open up, and I can exchange points for the training methods for all 3 types of hockey. That'll speed up my strength growth a lot. Azure dragons can fly, but with my current stamina, I definitely can't make it all the way home flying. I swung my bat the whole way, like an invincible Azure dragon war god. I cut through everything in my path. A huge crowd of students gathered behind me. They wanted to follow me out of the hallway. But what they didn't know was that there's no safe place left in the apocalypse. Hiding in the dorm with the door locked actually lets you survive a little longer. After I rushed out of the hallway, I narrowed my eyes. The scene downstairs was absolutely bone-chilling. This school used to be an unmarked mass grave. Campus rumors said it was full of evil yin energy. Building residential apartments here made lots of people sick. Later, a feng shui master suggested building a school here to use the extremely masculine vital energy of young people to neutralize the evil yin here. Now all those skeletons that used to be corpses, infected by the zombie virus, have all crawled out from underground, attacking every living person they see. Someone please help me. The whole campus fell into chaos. Everyone was running for their lives like crazy. They panicked and ran blindly, crashing into each other, but I ignored all of them. I set my sights on the school gate and ran towards it at full speed. Any zombies in my way, or skeletons, got their heads smashed by my iron rod. When I finally fought my way to the school gate, My body suddenly froze completely. It wasn't just me. Everyone, including the zombies, stopped dead in their tracks. It was as if someone had pressed the time pause button on the entire world. First divine gift. Devil fruits have descended. Divine gift space is now open. Then my vision went completely black. When I woke up again, I was already in a strange space. There was no concept of space here. No concept of time either. Just two light screens, one big and one small. The big screen had the words Divine Gift Shop on it. The small screen had Personal Panel written on it. All of these things were already familiar to me from my past life. They were gifts given by an unknown existence. You can exchange points for corresponding items, like cultivation techniques, combat skills, gear, potions, and more. You are the first person to earn 100 points by killing zombies. You will receive a divine gift reward. Additionally, since you earned 100 points within 10 minutes of the apocalypse starting, your divine gift reward has been upgraded in rarity. You can choose one of the 3 rewards below. I was shocked. This never happened in my past life. Reward 1. Perfect Fruit. Elevates your current dragon fruit to perfect state. Completely removes all side effects of the dragon fruit. After the side effects are removed, you won't be weakened by sea stone or seawater anymore. And you can eat 1 more devil fruit without your body exploding. Reward 2. Hockey Genius. No point exchange needed. No training required. You instantly awaken all 3 types of hockey. Even if you don't train actively, your 3 types of hockey will slowly grow on their own. If you do train actively, your 3 types of hockey will train twice as fast. Reward 3. Zombie Slaying Divine Weapon. You get a custom weapon of your choice. This weapon is of supreme grade sword level. Also, this weapon deals double damage to zombies. Fruit, hacky, weapon, pick 1 of 3. 1 and 3 give an instant power boost. 2 gives slower power growth, but has a much higher ceiling. From my experience getting the second divine gift in my past life, at least up until that point, hockey was still super useful. Just when I was hesitating, I suddenly remembered Teacher Kaido's golden advice. Hockey is the foundation of strength. Roger, Shanks, Garp had no devil fruit powers, and still became invincible powerhouses. Even Teacher Kaido, to improve his hockey, didn't even bother developing his fruit much. He didn't even awaken it when he fought Luffy. I picked 2, Hacky Genius. I didn't hesitate anymore. It's better to master 1 power than have many average ones. How strong the dragon fruit is depends on how strong your own physique is. Developing 1 fruit to its full potential is already hard enough. The next moment it clicked for me. I instantly awakened all 3 types of hockey. A thin layer of black hockey covered my fist. That's armament hockey. Right after that, I exchanged 10 points for 5 pieces of water meat. It's food that quickly replenishes your stamina. Lets me last longer in fights. The personal panel doesn't just show your personal stats. It's also a communication device. When human civilization was destroyed in the apocalypse, everyone relied on the personal panel's communication function to stay in touch. Also, it's very user-friendly and has many separate channels. A lot of people were already chatting in the channels. The space freeze is about to end. From now on, I can enter the God-given space at will. All I felt was a sudden blackout before my eyes. When I woke up again, my consciousness was back in my body. I was surrounded by endless zombies, and my panicking, disoriented classmates and teachers. I stuffed a piece of hydro flesh into my mouth, gobbling it down ravenously, while I kept charging towards the school gate. Suddenly, I had a strong gut feeling. I immediately dodged to the side, right where I had just been standing. A bony skeleton arm jutted out. That's observation hockey. My electric-wrapped baseball bat quickly wiped out several incoming zombies. Then I shifted back to my human form and got straight into the car. I floored it and raced out of the city. The roads were packed with fleeing vehicles. They thought the zombie outbreak only hit the city, so they wanted to run to sparsely populated areas to survive. But there's no safe spot left in this entire world. The radio was still playing in the car. It was an emergency national announcement. Everyone, please do not panic. Stay at home and lock your doors and windows. Our military has already been deployed. Our biological labs are also developing an antidote. Please keep order and don't cause chaos. The first wave of zombie virus spreads through the air. People with weak constitutions will get infected, so hospitals and nursing homes are high infection areas. After the apocalypse hits, the main way the zombie virus spreads is through bites and blood contact. Under these circumstances, military personnel with top physical fitness have an extremely low infection rate, so when the apocalypse first arrives, the military can still play a fairly effective role. But I know this won't last for long. If the military wants to wipe out zombies fast, they have to use firearms and other thermal weapons. But that way, they won't get any points. No points mean no way to get stronger, as zombies keep getting stronger, and eventually become immune to regular thermal weapons. The military will become less and less effective. Social order will collapse even faster, so the only chance of survival right now is for everyone to fight against the zombies. This is a survival contest of survival of the fittest. The car was speeding along. Even if zombies blocked the road ahead, I just rammed right through them. Suddenly, my phone started ringing. The moment I picked up, I heard my little sister's anxious, terrified voice. "Brother, where are you? There are so many zombies outside. It's so scary. I'm fine, how about you? Are Mom and Dad okay? Mom listened to you. Asked for leave early and picked me up home. Dad's still at the hospital. He said he locked the office, so he's safe for now. Brother, you're such a legend. If you hadn't forced Mom to take leave, we'd probably be dead out there right now." Aoyue had been confused this whole past month. Her brother brought tons of daily supplies home every day. He wouldn't say anything when they asked him, and they had no idea where he got all that money. Of course, I didn't have that much money myself. 1 month isn't enough to earn that much anyway. But since the apocalypse was coming, what did I have to be afraid of? I took out loans from every platform I could find. If I could have explained it to my parents, I would have even mortgaged the house. But with the God-given space, there's no need to stock up too many supplies anyway. These are just for emergency use. While we were talking, a luxury car ahead swerved to avoid a suddenly lunging zombie and flipped over. That immediately caused a massive pileup. Lots of cars crashed into the wreckage, resulting in multiple deaths and injuries. I had already expected something like this would happen. It was too late to stop the car now. I grabbed my backpack and baseball bat and immediately shifted into my green dragon form. I smashed through the roof and flew up into the sky. Yanyun held up my body. The green dragon soared straight up. This amazing sight shocked everyone on the road. It made the already bad pileup even worse. I didn't have time to care about the messy crash site below. I flew into the clouds and flew straight towards my destination. Occasionally, I took out from my backpack a piece of hydroflesh to replenish my energy. I can't fly for too long right now. Finally, when I used up all the hydroflesh, I landed from the sky and shifted back to my human form again. I quickly scanned my surroundings and didn't see any zombies around. I hurriedly entered the God-given space and exchanged for 5 more pieces of hydroflesh, stuffed all of them into my backpack. Right now, my backpack only has these 5 pieces of hydroflesh and 1 Rumble Rumble Fruit. I ate a piece of hydroflesh. I didn't take off to fly again. Although the juicy flesh can restore stamina, but if I keep relying on it to recover, then my stamina will drain faster and faster, and it can't relieve my mental exhaustion. I pulled out the map to check. I need to find a highway right now and stop a car. Once I confirm the direction, I'll turn into Azure Dragon again. This time I only flew for 10 minutes before I spotted a highway down below. Tons of cars are speeding on it, and I'm looking for a sturdy off-road vehicle down in the traffic flow. Lots of people spotted the Azure Dragon flying in the sky. Someone immediately filmed this scene with a phone and uploaded it to the chat channel of Godsend Space. Guys, I just saw a dragon, a huge Azure Dragon. It must be almost 100 meters long, right? That's Kaido's Azure Dragon Devil Fruit, right? Who the hell got that lucky to get such a powerful mythical Zoan type? I once got a Rumble Rumble Fruit, but I thought it was fake, so I sold it. A real Devil Fruit, and a rare Logia type. Rumble Rumble Fruit, no less. He sold it for only 1,000. The yellow-haired kid wants to beat himself up right now. Above the highway from Jizu to Yuzhou, in my Azure Dragon form, I finally spotted a super sturdy-looking off-road vehicle. Just as I was about to land to hitch a ride, I suddenly caught a glimpse from the corner of my eye, on a big tree beside the highway. A faint glimmer of light flickering. I felt a twinge in my heart. I flew down towards that big tree. When I got close, my dragon eyes went wide. Heaven is on my side, on top of that fruitless poplar tree. Among the thick leaves hung a fruit. This fruit was shaped like a corn cob, bright golden all over, with white swirly patterns on it. It was a fruit I'd never seen before, but that makes sense. There are way more devil fruits in the apocalypse than in the manga. There's only a few dozen in the manga. But from what I subconsciously remember about the recorded fruits, there are tens of thousands of them. Most of them are Zoan types, of course. Mythical Zoan types aren't that rare either. After all, every culture around the world has countless myths. Every divine beast, monster, and so on in those myths becomes a new mythical zone devil fruit. But even if mythical zone types were everywhere, they still deserve the title of the strongest. I reached out with my dragon claw to pick the fruit and put it in my big backpack. Once my points reach 1,000, I can go to the godsend space to unlock a new function, devil fruit identification. That way I can avoid eating fruits I don't want. Of course, the identification fee is super expensive. Each appraisal costs a full 1,000 points. Just as I was about to catch up with that off-road vehicle again, a big truck up ahead suddenly flipped over. 3 zombies crawled out of the truck and started stopping and attacking nearby cars. But no car dared to stop at a time like this. Everyone hit the gas and ran right over the zombies, swerving left and right to shake the zombies off. This move directly caused a multi-car pileup. I glanced over there and ignored it. Instead, I landed next to the flipped truck and turned into my half-beast form. I held up the flipped side and flipped it right over with brute force. The strength from the Azure Dragon Fruit is insanely strong. Then I got into the truck and drove straight ahead. When I reached the pileup scene, I turned into the dragon again and moved all the wreckage blocking my way out of the way. The cars behind me drove through the road I just cleared and unconsciously started following right behind me. I saw this happen from the rearview mirror, but I didn't care. They can follow if they want, as long as they don't get in my way. Car crashes kept happening. I also got out from time to kill zombies and clear the road. If you protect me, I'll give you endless money. A chubby, well-off, greasy middle-aged man gave me an obsequious smile. Take one more step and you die. The terrified middle-aged man actually knelt down involuntarily, as if the dragon-transformed young man in front of him was the supreme ruler of the world. The faint conqueror's haki stunned a group of people who were about to come talk to me. Even with the life and death crisis, some people still wanted to take their chances. A good-looking, mature woman gathered her courage and walked up. Even in the apocalypse, she still dressed so beautifully. Hey, handsome, can you take me with you? You can do whatever you want to me. But all I gave him was still a cold, harsh get lost. Just when I deactivated my power and was about to get in the car, a burly man walked up from behind. Excuse me, sir. I swear my loyalty to you. Seeing I had no intention of stopping, he hurried to sell himself as fast as he could. Sir, I've read a lot of apocalypse novels. You're super strong and all, but don't you need people to help build a base? I'm Mangkui. I don't have any fancy skills, but I've got plenty of brute strength. I work as a kickboxing coach. I can definitely be useful to you. I stopped walking, glanced back at him, and stroked my chin, thinking for a moment. This guy has a point. Civil order is about to collapse completely. To survive the apocalypse, I need to build my own safe base. To fight off the zombies. These zombies are evolving super fast. I can't protect my family 24/7 all on my own. Get in the car. When he heard me agree, Mengkui was over the moon. He didn't care about his bags or luggage, or even his own car. He left all of it behind. Scared I'd leave him behind if he was even a second late. He didn't dare take the passenger seat either. Instead, he used his great physical strength to climb into the back cargo hold. Menkui's success gave the others hope. This big shot isn't totally heartless after all. But as soon as a greasy middle-aged man opened his mouth, I cut him off immediately. Even if I'm hiring people, there's no way I'm hiring that many right here, right now. One Mengkui is enough for the early stages. Besides, his loyalty is still a question mark. I need to test him gradually. Please give me a chance. My skills in my life are all yours to use to achieve your goals. This woman looked like a tough cookie. She might actually be able to pull off great things. I gave her a long, hard look. Get in the car. The woman was overjoyed. Without my permission, she didn't dare take the passenger seat either. Instead, she scrambled to climb into the back cargo hold, not caring how she looked. I watched this happen and nodded to myself quietly. This woman isn't necessarily just a pretty face. The people behind also wanted to do the same as these two, but I unleashed my Conqueror's haki again. Everyone collapsed to the ground in shock. A die-hard One Piece fan recognized this kingly aura. Oh my god, the big shot has awakened Conqueror's haki. I got back in the car, started the engine, and kept driving. I drove for a full 2.5 hours before I found a roadside rest stop. Only it was already overrun by zombies. Passing travelers had wanted to go inside to refuel and stock up on food here. But when they saw the horde of zombies occupying the place, they had to give up on that idea. But I didn't have that worry. As soon as the big truck stopped here, a group of zombies swarmed over. They couldn't get into the cab, so they tried to climb into the cargo hold to attack Mengkui and the pretty woman. The two of them cowered in the hold in fear, not daring to show their faces. I opened the door and switched straight to my beast human form. I swung the baseball bat in my hand and easily bashed the heads of the few zombies climbing the truck. The convoy that had been following me this whole time also arrived at this rest stop. They had planned to wait for me to clear out all the zombies before stocking up on supplies, but their presence immediately drew a huge horde of zombies charging towards them. With no other choice, the convoy had no option but to leave. I took out one zombie per swing and killed all the zombies in no time. I only left one zombie alive for Meng Kui to practice on. Meng Kui really lives up to his title as a kickboxing coach. His strength, speed, and combat reflexes are all really good. When I finished refueling the truck, he had also successfully killed the zombie. After I finished stocking up on supplies, I asked the Cheongsam-clad beauty what her name was. Even though this woman looked like she had skinny, little arms and legs like she was useless. Ever since she got in my car, she'd been acting really well. She didn't scream or yell when the zombies were climbing the truck. That made her score go up a bit more in my book. My name is Lu Xiao. When the woman saw I finally asked for her name, she answered hurriedly, "Sit in the passenger seat. You don't have to climb into the hold anymore." My words made Lu Xiao overjoyed. That meant this young man had accepted her. "Yes, master." How she addressed me shocked me again. She didn't even ask for my name. She just called me master straight away. She can put her pride and ego aside. People like that can survive better in the apocalypse. We set off again soon after. On the road, I got another call from my sister Ao Yue. "Brother, where are you?" "Dad is trapped in the hospital office. I heard there are more zombies in the hospital than anywhere else. Dad doesn't have any food or water either. I'm so scared something bad will happen to him." Ao Yue's voice had a sob in it. Mom's voice came from beside her too. "Xiaoxin, how's everything at your school? Take good care of yourself. Mom and Dad will find a way to rescue you. Mom, don't you guys worry. I got Teacher Kai's Azure Dragon Fruit, you know? It's even stronger than the Logia type." "Bro, was that Azure Dragon in the video You're so cool." Speaking of devil fruits, Ao Yue stopped being scared right away. My sister and I stayed on the phone and chatted for a whole hour. After I hung up the call, I called my father immediately. I told him I'm a devil fruit user now, and I'll come back to rescue him really soon. Told him to stay well hidden, and don't risk rushing outside. Back in his office at that moment, the anxious, helpless Ao Kang finally breathed a sigh of relief. After telling me to be careful, he quietly waited for his son's rescue. When I drove the heavy truck into Bian City, it was already late at night. The streets at this hour were full of aimlessly wandering zombies. The night was dead silent. The loud rumble of the truck was so harsh to the ear, people who were still too scared to fall asleep all opened their windows to check what was going on outside. I didn't go home. I headed straight to the central hospital instead. Hundreds of zombies were gathered here. After getting off the truck, I shifted straight into my hybrid form. Electricity coiled around my baseball bat. I slaughtered my way through the zombie horde wantonly. I walked into the hospital. There wasn't a single living person in sight. "You two wait here for me first. I'll get my dad out, then we'll leave." After I left, Meng Kui and the other immediately hid in a nearby room and blocked the door with lots of tables and chairs, waiting for me to come back. As I kept killing zombies, I pulled out my phone and called my father. "Dad, I'm already at your hospital. Which office are you in?" On the other end, Ao Kang was both hungry and thirsty, and mentally drained from the zombies slamming into the door nonstop. It was late at night. He was groggy, half asleep and half awake, when he was suddenly woken up by his phone. When he saw it was his son calling, he perked up immediately. "Be careful, there are tons of zombies in the hospital." He didn't tell me his location first. He told me to stay safe instead. It wasn't until I made a video call to him and saw my badass dragon man form wiping out zombies everywhere that Ao Kang finally relaxed and told me where to go. I soon arrived at the door of an office in the corner. 12 zombies were gathered here, slamming into the door non-stop. The door already had lots of holes in it. If Ao Kang hadn't blocked the door with lots of tables and chairs, the zombies would have rushed in and torn him to pieces long ago. I swung my iron rod and bashed all these zombies' heads in, then kicked the door open violently with one foot. My dad in the room wasn't in great shape, but he had no injuries. That was the best news possible. As Ao Kang gulped down the water and meat I gave him, he stared at the imposing dragon man in front of him. "Is this the devil fruit power you told Xiao Yue about?" While trapped in the office, Ao Kang also used this time to browse lots of content on the divine gift space, communication channels, videos, and comments, so he roughly knew a bit about One Piece. I let out a silly laugh and casually bashed in the head of another zombie that burst in. "How is it? Your son's cool, right?" You rascal, you look freaking awesome. In the short time since he started running for his life, Aokang had seen countless people killed by zombies. Now his whole family was actually safe and sound. That was the best possible news in the apocalypse. On the way out of the hospital with my dad, I could still see people peeking out from the broken doorways of some houses when they saw Aokang leaving with a dragon man, and how super tough that dragon man was. Someone immediately yelled out, "Old, save me?" When Aokang saw his colleague calling for help, a look of pity crossed his face. Xiaoxin, save them too. They're all my colleagues. They look so pitiful. What's the point of saving them? Am I supposed to drive every single one of them home too? Even if they get home, do you think they'll actually survive? Ignoring the shouts from these people, I pulled my dad and left quickly. When I passed Mengkui and Liu Xiao's room, after I cleared out the zombies slamming into the door, I smashed the door open with my bat and led the two of them out. "Sir? Master?" When they saw me come back, both of them spoke up respectfully right away. Aokang was totally shocked. He looked at me in complete disbelief. A buff, muscular guy, a stunningly beautiful woman. Why would people like them respect my son so much? And he heard it super clearly. That pretty lady called my son Master. Oh my God. Is my son this much of a player behind my back, even with my thick skin from living 2 lives? I felt my cheeks heating up right now, but I still tried to act calm. Just 2 underlings I picked up on the road. But Aokang clearly didn't buy that. He looked like he knew I was lying. I was speechless, and didn't bother explaining further. I led them back to the big truck. After letting my dad sit in the passenger seat, I shooed Liu Xiao back to the rear compartment. After we got home, my little sister Ao Yue stared at Liu Xiao in shock. She's such a beautiful woman. And what did that woman just call my brother? Master. Oh! What has my brother been up to outside? He even dared to bring this woman home. And that buff muscular guy too. Even if he said he was a special forces soldier, I would totally believe him, okay? He actually called my brother boss. Right now, Liu Xiao acted like a proper maid, with her hands folded over her lower abdomen, standing quietly behind me. Mengkui looked obviously at a loss, even though he's an outgoing person. These are the family members of the boss he swears loyalty to. He had no idea how to act around them. Finally, my mom Zhang Hong spoke up first. "You all must be hungry, right? Come eat." She stopped sleeping after knowing her son was coming back, and cooked all night, just so my son and husband could have a hot meal. She just didn't expect her son to bring 2 more people back. Because of that, there wasn't enough food for everyone. Luckily, I had prepared a lot of canned food beforehand. I opened a few cans, and we scraped together a full table of food. Seeing Mengkui and the other standing awkwardly to the side, I quickly asked them to come eat with us. Mengkui was just about to step forward when Liu Xiao spoke up. "Just give us some canned food. I can't eat at the same table as my master." As soon as she said that, everyone present was completely stunned. Ao Yue's suspicious eyes darted between the 2 of us. I get it now. This is called flirting. Before she could finish talking, I flicked her forehead hard. The pain made tears well up in her eyes. She grabbed my arm and bit it. After dinner, I took out devil fruits from my backpack. I have 2 more devil fruits here. One is the Rumble Rumble Fruit. I don't know what the other one does yet. You 2 can have them. Both Mengkui and Liu Xiao were shocked. They never expected I had 2 more. Their eyes were filled with deep longing. Ao Yue curiously picked up both fruits to play with, then handed them to our parents to look at the magical fruits. But Aokang gave them back to me after looking. "Give one to Xiao Yue. We're old. It'd be a waste even if we ate them. Yeah, with you protecting us, we're already more than satisfied. These are such valuable things. They'll be more useful if you keep them. I already have the Azure Dragon Fruit. My strength will improve really fast from now on. If you eat these fruits, you can kill zombies really fast too, then exchange for hockey cultivation methods. These are the real capital for surviving the apocalypse." But I talked for ages. Mom and Dad still refused. "No, if you have more later, you can give us some then. It's too wasteful for us to eat these now." I looked super helpless. Turned to look at Ao Yue. "Pick one." Ao Yue had been staring at them greedily for ages. Now that it was finally her turn, she got excited immediately. She held up both fruits, looking back and forth between them. "The Rumble Rumble Fruit is super famous. If I eat this one, it's definitely the safest choice. We don't even know the name of the other one. If it's just a regular Zoan type, that'd be such a ripoff." But after thinking for a long time, she still gave the Rumble Rumble Fruit back to me. "I'll eat this one." "You don't want the Rumble Rumble Fruit. Its Logia-type elementization ability is practically unbeatable in the early stages. And who knows what ability that other one has. In the God-given space, 1 can of demonization potion can eliminate the side effects of devil fruits and let people eat a second devil fruit. Bro, you're so strong now. You'll definitely get the demonization potion. This Rumble Rumble Fruit is perfect for you. I'll just take this one. All right, I'll appraise it first. You can eat it if its power is good. Appraise. Fruit appraisal is a feature you unlock. When you reach 1,000 points, Aoyue has 0 points right now. So of course she doesn't know that. I fought my way home from school, then slaughtered tons of zombies at the central hospital entrance. I've killed over 1,000 zombies total, so I've got exactly enough for 1 appraisal. But when Aoyue heard it cost 1,000 points to appraise, she immediately objected. No way, 1,000 points is way too expensive. She didn't even wait for me to argue back. Just grabbed this fruit that looks like a golden corn cob and stuffed it right in her mouth. She gulped it down in one go. I was shocked when I saw that. I never thought she'd just eat it directly. If this fruit's power is weak, there's no way to undo it. But Aoyue already swallowed a piece of the pulp. What's done is done. I could only pray this fruit has strong enough power. Everyone present was staring intently at Aoyue, who just ate the fruit, watching closely for any changes in her. Aoyue was also super nervous, feeling that strange magical energy inside her body. Soon that energy spread all over her body, and her body started to mutate. Then her whole body shrank rapidly, turning into a palm-sized little white mouse with gold stripes. It's a Zoan type. Everyone immediately realized what type of fruit this was, but this little mouse looks really special. It's probably not a common Zoan. Bro, you guys are so big. What type is it? Common type, ancient type, or mythical Zoan. It's mythical Zoan! When I heard mythical Zoan, I was over the moon. Looks like my little sister's bet paid off. Mythical Zoans all have special powers. What's your ability? Watch this. As she said that, Aoyue dove down and actually burrowed straight into the interlayer between floors. There was no bump or damage to the floor at all. It was like the little mouse had completely merged with the floor. Soon the little mouse burrowed out from behind me and transformed into her human beast form. I, your lady, will officially introduce my devil fruit power to everyone. My fruit is the Zoan type. Rat fruit. Mythical Zoan, treasure rat model. It has 3 powers total. First, I can pass through all earth and stone obstacles, like burrowing underground, walking through walls, stuff like that. It feels like walking through a curtain of water for me. Second, I have an independent treasure storage space. I can store any non-living items in it. As she said that, Aoyue picked up a mop from the corner and stuffed it into her chest. Everyone's eyes went wide, watching that long, thick object go into her chest and disappear completely. It's a portable space. Her mom, Jang Hong, even leaned her head into her daughter's arms and even stuck her hand in to feel around. It's gone. Then Aoyue reached into her chest again and pulled out that long, thick mop. How big is this space of yours? That's the key question I care about most. As far as I know, there were no storage items during the first Divine Blessing period. I don't know if they'll appear later on, but if Aoyue's ability has a big enough space, we can carry tons of stuff without worrying about losing it. It's only 10 cubic meters right now, but as I develop the fruit more, the space will get bigger gradually. That's not all. I have another power. I was even more surprised. Burrowing, wall walking, plus a portable space are already god-tier skills. And she actually has another power. The third power is treasure hunting. I can sense the aura of treasures and lock onto their location based on the aura. Right now, my sensing range covers half of BN City. Damn, I almost cursed out loud when I heard that. Burrowing, storage space, plus treasure hunting. I suddenly felt like my Azure Dragon Fruit isn't that cool anymore. But then I thought, the Azure Dragon has a lot of powers too. First, I can control 3 natural elements, wind, fire, and thunder. Second, I can fly by holding onto Yan Yun. Last, I get way higher buffs to strength, defense, speed, and recovery than other Zoan types. Comparing the two, Azure Dragon is better at fighting, while the Treasure Rat focuses more on support abilities outside of combat. Aoyue's voice suddenly got a little depressed, but it has downsides too. Unlike other Zoan types, when I enter beast form, my strength and defense are almost 0. I have 0 fighting power at all. But when I enter human beast form, I barely get any strength or defense boost. It's exactly the same as when I'm a normal human, but my speed is super fast. I reckon the speed boost is at least double that of other mythical Zoan devil fruits. When she finished speaking, Aoyue was still really proud. This really isn't a devil fruit made for combat, but its effect is even greater than the Azure Dragon Fruit. Treasure hunting? What counts as treasure in this era? You barely even need to think. The only answer is devil fruits. Of course, that's not entirely true. Secret realms will open up in the future. Aoyue's ability can also let us get more benefits in those secret realms. Oh right, put this Rumble Rumble Fruit in your treasure space. Only this place is safe. After seeing Aoyue's devil fruit abilities, I handed the Rumble Rumble Fruit to her. I also transferred 30 of my points to every single one of them to let them exchange for the 3 types of hockey training methods. Even without a devil fruit, as long as you train hockey to the extreme, you can still become a strong fighter, even if you do have a devil fruit. If your hockey is weak, you'll gradually get eliminated in the apocalypse. Then I got items from the God-given space for them, exchanged a standard military knife for each person. Then I let everyone out of the house. Downstairs, there are still countless, endlessly wandering zombies. I transformed into a dragon human, knocked down a zombie with one swing of my staff, so it lost its ability to move. Dad, use this knife to finish it off. Ao Kang hesitated a little. Even though it's a zombie now, it was human before it died. He couldn't bring himself to do it. Bro, let me do it. I'll show Dad how it's done. After saying that, she pulled out the long knife in her hand and beheaded the zombie with one strike. A pungent smell spread out. Ao Kang frowned slightly, but as a doctor, he wasn't scared of it at all. I did the same thing again, subdued another zombie. This time, Liu Xiao took the initiative to finish it off. After seeing the 2 girls demonstrate, Ao Kang finally could do it himself. Then my mom Zhang Hong also finished off a zombie. As for Meng Kui, he was already capable of taking down a zombie by himself. As a fight coach, his combat ability is way stronger than my family members. Now they all have the armament hockey training method, and training armament hockey relies entirely on extreme physical training and nonstop fighting. Tempering your body in battle is the foundation of getting stronger. Dad, you guys train near the house first. I'll go clear out zombies further away. Fighting zombies. Besides training your body, the other purpose is getting points. That's the currency in the apocalypse. You can not only exchange items from the God-given space, but also use it to trade with other people. The old money system has already collapsed. Bro, I'm coming with you. Mao Yue saw that I was about to leave, hugged my arm quickly and begged. I frowned when I heard that, no way, I'll clear out a bunch of zombies near the house. You guys can go home to rest when you're tired. It's too dangerous to come with me far away. Plus, your devil fruit's combat ability isn't strong either. I sense there's treasure to the southwest. I can take you treasure hunting. Treasure? Aoyue's words shocked me. What other treasure could there be besides devil fruits right now? Fine, stay close to me. Don't run off on your own. Then I gave Meng Kui a few instructions and headed southwest with Aoyue. Both of us were in human beast form. The treasure rat's speed caught me completely off guard. With her speed and amazing burrowing ability, those zombies can't even touch the corner of Aoyue's clothes. Though Aoyue's own attack power isn't great, she can still take down zombies by kiting them around. When I knocked another zombie dead with my staff, Aoyue also successfully beheaded a zombie, but using her abilities so often left her gasping for air. But she still happily showed off to me. Bro, I took down another zombie. Looking at the girl's face that practically screamed, praise me, I smiled. My little Yue is really strong. Hearing my praise, the girl's beautiful eyes curved into 2 little crescents. 2 tiny dimples appeared on her cheeks. But you can't get this cocky mid-fight. A zombie pounced from behind. Trying to attack Aoyue, she was shocked and immediately tried to burrow to escape. But she had used up too much stamina, so she couldn't burrow. The zombie got closer and closer. At the very last second, I smacked the zombie away with my staff. Bro, I can't fight anymore. Aoyue was huffing and puffing heavily. She didn't train like crazy for a month like I did. And she doesn't have natural hockey talent either. With the help of my points, she only qualified to practice hockey. She hasn't awakened hockey yet. The treasure rat form gives no extra stamina boost. The fact that she's fought this far is all thanks to her regular exercise routine. Point me the direction. I'll take you there. Aoyue stuffed the long knife into the treasure storage space and shifted into her beast form, then hopped onto my shoulder. The palm-sized little rat nuzzled against my dragon scale-covered cheek. I shifted into dragon form right away. A deafening roar ripped through the sky, startling countless people hiding in residential buildings. They poked their heads out one after another and saw a green dragon soaring up on bright clouds, rushing straight into the cloud layer. The green dragon boss actually came to our BN city. Can he clear all the zombies in BN city? Someone else recorded the footage of the green dragon soaring and uploaded it to the chat channel of the God-given space. They don't dare fight zombies. so they can only hide in their houses, using the God-given space to communicate with people all around the world. Above Bian City, I followed the direction Ao Yue pointed out, and soon arrived at the location she said had a treasure inside that patch of woods. Ao Yue in her treasure rat form sniffed hard with her little nose. The closer we got to the treasure, the stronger her sensing became. I descended from the sky and shifted back to beast-human form after landing on the ground. The two of us quickly ran deeper into the woods. There were very few people around here, and barely any zombies either. Only 2 or 3 scattered zombies were easily taken care of by me. Ah, stop right now. Ao Yu suddenly cried out in alarm. Under a huge pine tree, a creepy-looking man was holding a red heart-shaped fruit in his hands. He was extremely excited at that moment. He ran out of the city, planning to hide in the uninhabited suburbs, but unexpectedly in this woods, he found this devil fruit. He isn't a One Piece fan, so he has no idea what this fruit is. But from the forums on the God-given space, he knew anything like this is a priceless treasure. Ha ha ha! This massive fortune is finally coming my way, Wang Defa. As he spoke, he opened his yellow-toothed mouth to take a bite. Both Ao Yue and I's expressions changed instantly. It's too late. I immediately sucked it out, then Ao Yue and I hurried over. We saw the devil fruit was intact in the ashes, and quickly picked it up. Having already lived through one apocalypse, I long lost the so-called mercy. Ao Yue, however, felt a little guilty about it. It went against the education she had received all her life. The apocalypse only follows the law of the jungle. Strength is justice. If I didn't have this kind of power and got caught with a devil fruit by a stronger person, I would end up exactly like this guy. Oya nodded gently, even though it's only the second day of the apocalypse. From the forums on the God-given space, she had already seen the ugly side of human nature. Though the little girl understood this logic, she still felt a little upset and hugged my arm tightly as she stared at the fruit with me. The red heart-shaped fruit had black curly patterns on its surface. As die-hard One Piece fans, the two of us recognized this fruit immediately. This is the most expensive fruit in the One Piece world, just like the Nika fruit. It's worth 5 billion berries. This is the Operation Fruit. In my past life, the person who got the Operation Fruit was a very famous and powerful figure, but this creepy man looked nothing like the powerful person in my memory. I figured that after this creepy man ate the fruit, he would die very soon. Then the Operation Fruit would respawn somewhere else in the world and be eaten by a truly powerful person. Devil fruits in the apocalypse are just like the ones in the manga. As soon as the ability user dies, the fruit will respawn randomly somewhere else. That's why later on, some physically strong fighters would hunt down weak ability users, hoping to get the respawned fruit themselves. But the success rate is extremely low, because no one can predict where it will respawn. Brother, the Operation Fruit can be given to Dad. He will definitely love this fruit. Ao-sing immediately thought of the best home for the Operation Fruit. Their father, Ao Kang, is a surgeon. He will definitely be interested in it. With the treasure in hand, I shifted into the green dragon form again, let Ao Yue sit on my back, and flew back home quickly. Our parents didn't have enough stamina, so they had already gone home to rest. Liu Xiao is waiting on the two of them attentively, which makes them quite uncomfortable. Meng Kui is still fighting alone downstairs. He knows just pledging loyalty to me isn't enough. If he wants to be highly valued in the future, he himself has to be strong enough. A lot of people are also trying to kill zombies downstairs right now. After all, the exchangeable goods in the God-given space are really too tempting. But even the cheapest 3 colors hockey cultivation method costs 10 points each, which means you have to kill a full 10 zombies. They took out kitchen knives, shovels, wooden sticks, and every other weapon they could find at home, trying to fight the zombies. But zombies are far stronger, faster, and tougher than them. Every now and then, someone gets attacked by zombies, or gets bitten and infected to become a new zombie. When Meng Kui saw me come back, he immediately reported what happened while I was gone. Good job. Go rest if you're tired. I'm very satisfied with Meng Kui's performance. This kind of hardworking, go-all-out spirit is the guarantee to survive the apocalypse. No, I want to keep fighting. After I gave him points to buy the 3 colors hockey cultivation method, he still hasn't awakened his hockey yet. But Meng Kui can clearly feel that every fight improves his physical condition a little bit. He's a kickboxing coach. His body is already almost at its peak potential. He hasn't felt the joy of getting stronger for ages. That's why he especially cherishes this chance I gave him, without me. Even though he's confident he can kill 10 zombies, it would take him at least 5 days to do it. All right, do what you can. Don't overexert yourself. Then I took Ao Yue upstairs. The second we walked in, we saw Liu Xiao. massaging my mom Zhang Hong's legs. The two elders are in pretty good shape. But they're old after all, after such an intense fight. Their bodies are super sore. Liu Xiao's massage technique isn't professional, but it still feels a lot better to get a massage. Master. When she saw me walk in, Liu Xiao immediately called out Master obediently. This girl is really sensible. I think I have good taste in people. Both Meng Kui and Liu Xiao are worth training. Ao Yue let go of my arm right after we entered the room and hopped over to Dad. Dad, we brought you something awesome. She then pulled out the op fruit from her shirt showily and held it up in front of Ao Kang's eyes. It's a paramecia type op fruit, Dad. You're a doctor. You'll definitely love its powers. The moment she saw the op fruit, Liu Xiao's heart skipped a beat, but she quickly calmed herself down and kept massaging Zhang Hong's legs hard. But she was totally shocked inside and was even more glad she made the right choice. Ao Kang wasn't that excited, though. He hasn't watched One Piece after all. He took the op fruit from his daughter and looked at it curiously. Op fruit. If I eat it, can I do surgeries better? He naturally assumed that from the fruit's name, but I already know how to do surgeries. Would it make my surgeries more precise? Ao Yue immediately explained it to him. The op fruit lets you create a space bubble. Inside it, you can cut through anything, and you can teleport inside it too. Ao Yue's explanation was pretty messy. When she saw Dad still didn't get it, she found videos about the op fruit and showed him Trafalgar Law's powers one by one. Ao Kang got more and more surprised. Devil fruits are really magical, but Dad is old now. You kids should keep this fruit. If you and your mom are stronger, I can focus on my own work without worrying. Otherwise, I'll always be worried about the family. I said that on purpose. Ao Kang was convinced as expected after hearing that, as parents, they don't want to be a burden to their kids. Dad took a bite. A disgusting taste spread in his mouth. Ao Yue saw him frown and quickly explained, all devil fruits taste terrible. Don't spit it out, don't chew it. Just swallow it whole. You only need one bite. Now feel the power of the devil fruit inside you. See if you can use it. Ao Kang did as he was told, following the flow of power inside his body. He lifted his hand gently and pressed. A transparent bubble appeared around him. He glanced at the mop not far away. With a thought, he swapped places with the mop. Ao Yue and I were super happy when we saw that. Try again. The ability to cut through anything. Ao Kang pulled out the army knife he used to cut zombies earlier and swung it at the table. The table was cut in half like it was made of paper. Dad cut me. Try cutting me. Ao Yue hopped in front of Dad excitedly. Tell him to cut me apart. Ao Kang was speechless. Even though he'd heard his daughter explain the op fruit's powers before, he still found it super weird when she asked him to cut her. No way, I'm still not good at using this power. What if I hurt you? Olge wouldn't listen. But no matter how much she begged, Ao Kang refused to do it. I think we should go somewhere else to test this out and find more devil fruits. Then we can take over Bian City. Ao Yue's suggestion really tempted me. My little sister is right. She's got the skills for it. If we only stick to Bian City, it's such a waste of her talent. Lots of devil fruits are still undiscovered right now, or when a fruit user dies. Their fruit respawns and hasn't been found by anyone else yet. If I take advantage of this window, using Ao Yue's fruit talent, to collect more devil fruits, not only can I make my family stronger, these will also be super valuable resources down the line. Once people get used to this collapsed world and get a foothold in the apocalypse, all kinds of big forces will pop up. I'm strong, sure, but I'm not strong enough to take on the whole world yet. These fruits can be used for trades, to get whatever I need most, or to win over powerful people and get them to work for me. But the safety of my family is something I can't stop stressing about. Dad saw I was worried. Don't worry, Shaoxing. Dad has a devil fruit power now, too. Plus, we have Miss Lu and Brother Meng helping us. We'll be fine. I'll keep your mom safe. Your dad's right. You two go do what you need to do, no worries. With all the stuff you've given us, we can already survive just fine in the apocalypse. Don't worry, Master. We'll take good care of Mom and Dad. I was pretty touched. These two I took under my wing are actually great. All right, I'll leave my parents in your hands then. I'll transfer 400 points to each of you, so you can get stronger faster. Since my sister's proposal got approved, we need to act on it as soon as possible. Then I used the God-given space and spent 10 points to create a chat group. I added my parents, my sister Meng Kui, Liu Xiao, and the others into the group. This way, even if I'm away, I can stay in touch with my family anytime and check up on them. After I got all that done, I left home with Ao Yue. We got in the big truck parked at the door. We headed out of the city. Where to? You pick the direction. You're the treasure rat. Even if you can't sense treasure, your gut feeling should be reliable. Let's go to the provincial capital west of here. It's a big city with a huge population, so the chance of devil fruits appearing there is way higher. Following the treasure rat's intuition, I drove towards the west side of the city. We got out to fight every now and then along the way, and headed back to the truck once we ran out of stamina. We rested while we kept driving, but the big truck was pretty inconvenient after all. Using thought we really needed an off-road vehicle. After we entered the provincial capital, we kept going straight west. There were 100 times more zombies here than in Beyond City, just as expected, and the army was here systematically wiping out zombies. Guns and cannons were firing nonstop, pushing back hordes of zombies. But unless their core was completely blown up, they could still move around. Also, my big truck was stopped by the military. Military operation ahead. No access here. There's a shelter built overnight in that direction. Our troops are stationed around it. It's completely safe. We also provide food and water at regular times. I'm grateful. The country is really trying its best to stop this disaster. Unfortunately, this disaster isn't something human civilization can fight against. I didn't go to the shelter as the soldier instructed. Instead, I turned the car around and decided to go around this area. You can't save someone who's bent on dying. We can't afford to get involved in all this stuff right now anyway. We drove back to the fork in the road we came from earlier. After driving north for about 7 or 8 kilometers, we headed west again. This area wasn't surrounded by the military, and zombies were still running wild. Occasionally, we saw people fighting zombies from inside buildings. After they killed zombies using all kinds of methods, they immediately retreated back inside the houses. After resting, they'd come back out again to look for chances to kill more zombies. Everyone was doing everything they could to survive in the apocalypse. We didn't find any fruits, but I found something even better. This vehicle is called an off-road vehicle, but it's basically a civilian armored car. The only things it's missing are a GPS and a weapon system. It's insanely solid. It's exactly my ideal car right now. A young guy cut a hole in the Dongfeng Mengshi's door. Then he climbed into the car. He stuck a spear out to stab the incoming zombies. Though it's hard to hit their heads directly, he can still take down a few zombies by wearing them out slowly. I parked my truck next to this Dongfeng Mengshi. I jumped off with Aoyue, dragon form activated. My thick weighted baseball bat swept through everything in its path. This bat works super well. Even though I have enough points to exchange for a sharp sword, I still stick to using this bat. The young man hiding in the car saw that next to him, a big truck suddenly pulled over. His heart skipped a beat. Oh shit, it's Boss Qinglong. Is Boss Qinglong gonna rob me too? Ha ha ha. While he was letting his imagination run wild, I'd already taken out all the zombies here. Then I tapped on the car window. The young man in the armored car opened the door carefully. He knew if Boss Qinglong wanted to, he could wreck his car easily, so it's better to just cooperate honestly. 1 truck, half a truckload of diesel. I want your car. This isn't a robbery. Trading a truck and diesel for my Mengshi is a loss for me, though, but it's way better than what I expected. Anyway, I can't drive the truck after switching cars. Might as well trade it directly. As for the diesel, I can't take all of it anyway. This guy isn't an idiot. He quickly figured out what I wanted. He's trying to get something for nothing. Boss, I don't want anything. Please let me come with you. I'll give you the car for free. After surviving the apocalypse for almost 2 days, he fully understood how terrifying the apocalypse is. If I don't cling to this strong backer right now, when else will I get the chance? I was speechless for a second. This guy's got some real nerve. I've got stuff to do. I can't take you with me, okay? 30 points is enough for you to exchange for the 3-colored hockey cultivation method. Come on, boss, let me come with you. I've learned wilderness survival skills. I can handle tons of stuff. He's a total apocalypse fanatic. He even specially customized this thickened civilian armored vehicle and prepared a full set of wilderness survival gear. Look at this car. I customized it myself, and all that gear over there. I prepared all of it. I really can do a lot of useful stuff. I still have things to take care of. Taking you with me is out of the question, but I can help you clear out the zombies in your villa. With 30 points to exchange for the hockey cultivation method, you can get stronger slowly on your own too. He was a bit discouraged. But getting the hockey cultivation method is still a pretty good deal. Aoyue and I led the young man into his villa. We killed all his zombified family members and his pet dog. Practice cultivating your magic weapon well. You can become an apocalypse powerhouse too. Boss, my name is Ling Tian. Can you tell me your name? If I want to find you later, where should I go? He's so persistent about this. But there's no harm in telling him. If this guy actually has talent, I can take him under my wing later. My name is Aoxing. My home is in Bian City. If you can make it to Bian City on foot, I'll think about taking you in. Aoxing, huh? Just hiking to Bian City, no big deal. I can definitely do it. Actually, killing zombies is useless. Even if you chop off a zombie's head, other zombies will devour the dead ones, which triggers evolution. To completely eliminate zombies, you have to burn them with fire, burn their bodies completely to ash. But when zombie bodies are burned, the stagnant corpse key inside them will spread into the air, making the concentration of zombie virus in the air higher, which will further infect humans with weak constitutions. Also, the zombie virus will be catalyzed under high temperature and become even more powerful. It's a real dilemma. The only way is to cultivate the tyrant body. Tyrant body is a body refining process. Train your body to the absolute limit. Then you won't fear the zombie virus or the zombies themselves. All other methods are just temporary fixes. I wish your storage space was bigger. Then we could take all the diesel with us. Right now, fuel is limited, so the area we can search is limited too. You think I don't want that? Developing devil fruit powers isn't that easy. Stop eating so much junk food. When you're tired, go to the God-given shop to exchange for a piece of water meat. It can replenish your stamina really well. It's southwest of here. I can sense there's a treasure there. My spirits lifted immediately when I heard that. I heard there's treasure. I got excited right away. I stopped getting out to kill zombies. Instead, I tried to detour around them and sped toward the direction Ao Yue pointed. When we finally got near the destination, we realized things weren't that simple. This place was a factory, with barbed wire installed around the outside. Lots of small machines and discarded desks and chairs were piled at the gate to stop zombies from breaking in. Behind the barriers, people used tools from the factory to modify some long-handled knives to kill zombies trying to destroy the barriers. There were also many people walking around inside the factory, checking for gaps and fixing weak spots to stop zombies from climbing in. If any zombie was spotted climbing the barbed wire, someone would immediately grab a long stick like a spear, with a sharp blade welded on to stab the zombie down. This place had clearly become a basic safe base. Pulling this off proves the organizer here is really something. Wait for me in the car! There are quite a few zombies outside. It's not good for you to practice here. Be careful, bro. This kid's crazy. He doesn't care if he dies. Wait till he gets torn to pieces. Oh my god, did I see that right? This kid is so strong. All the surrounding zombies were drawn to me. But I still didn't activate my dragon form. Because I've already reached the copper skin realm, my already decent physique, plus a month of hard training, gave me a solid, strong foundation. A conqueror's hockey genius awakens hockey directly, plus the dual effects of passive boost and double active cultivation speed. My hockey level improved rapidly. I reached the copper skin realm on the second day of the apocalypse. The so-called copper skin definitely doesn't mean skin as hard as copper or iron. Body refinement works from the outside in. The skin is the body's first layer of defense. Training the skin to be tough can greatly reduce the impact the body takes and the recoil force when you attack. This is the first transformation of the body during training. Defense, speed, recovery ability, and so on all get a full upgrade. Even if I don't use my dragon form with the Azure Dragon Fruit, it still gives a certain physique boost to my human form. That's why even when I don't use my powers, I can still kill zombies easily. Plus, killing zombies without using powers is more challenging and helps my hockey improve much faster. I know that car of his. It's a Dongfeng Mengshi. It's a civilian armored vehicle. He could have driven this car out of this zombie horde, but he deliberately parked right at our gate. He definitely has his eye on our base. What does he want? To take our base? Should we tell the boss, go get old Zhang now? Boss, there's a skilled guy outside. He killed over 100 zombies all by himself and parked a Dongfeng Mengshi right at the gate. The brothers think he might be after our base. He really is a skilled fighter. He kills zombies way too easily. That's putting me under a lot of pressure. If this guy has bad intentions towards our base, can we even fight him off? After a full hour, I finally cleared all the zombies in front of the factory's north gate, shaking my sore arms. I walked up to the factory gate in big strides. I need to go in and get something. What do you want to get? I obviously can't say I'm here for a devil fruit. Looks like the devil fruit here is hidden in a really unnoticeable spot. Otherwise, these people would have eaten it already. Some vegetables. The second he said that, I was even more sure he was here for my base and would trick me into opening the gate to take it over. What's that thing from The Art of War again? The borrow passage to destroy Go tactic, even though I'm just a regular worker. I do read Art of War books in my free time. This guy can't trick me. We don't even have enough for ourselves. Go look somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. Don't try to trick us. Go look somewhere else. What if I insist on going in to get it? I'm not a good guy, but I don't kill people for no reason normally. I hope these people can be reasonable. Fuck, we have so many people. Why would we be scared of you? Come in if you've got the balls. Come on, let's see who's scared. You think you can scare us? I'm waiting right here for you to come in today. Let's see what you can do. Right at that moment, an invisible aura spread out. The workers felt like they were facing the majesty of an emperor. They were trembling with fear in their hearts. Some even dropped to their knees with a thud. The most cowardly ones even fainted from fear right on the spot. Only old Zhang and a few others who had started cultivating could still look straight at me. That's definitely Conqueror's haki. Conqueror's haki. Boss, let him in. Even making him our leader won't be a disgrace. Yeah, exactly. The strong rule, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Fucking disgrace. After I unleashed the Conqueror's haki, I already had no intention of negotiating with them further. It's such a waste of time. The baseball bat in my hand was wrapped in a layer of black light. I swung it hard and smashed down. The barrier the workers spent ages building broke right open. Old Zhang gripped his weapon tightly, but he didn't dare make a move in the end. You'd better behave yourselves. Think whose skull is harder, yours or a zombie's. Xiaoyuan, come here. Aoyue, who'd been watching the whole time, heard my call. She pulled out the key right away, jumped off the car, hopped over to me cheerfully. She twitched her dainty little nose and led me towards the back of the warehouse at the same time. Who the hell are you? Get lost. You little brat. What did you just say? How dare you run your mouth at me like that? I'll hang you at the gate for the zombies to eat later. Oh, you got a pretty little girl with you, huh? Which club did you pick her up from? She can have some fun with the boys in the factory later. Ah, Xiaoyan. He killed someone. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Let's go, brothers, get him. They insulted our woman. We can't let this bastard get away. Ah, I might not care if people insult me. But if they insult my family, I'll make them pay in blood, no exceptions. Xiao Yuan, most of the time. The evil in people's hearts is scarier than any zombie or monster. You're brave enough to kill zombies now, but do you dare to kill a person? Huh? Order has completely collapsed. If someone bullies you or insults you, you have to teach them a lesson they won't forget with blood. To survive in the apocalypse, you have to put away all unnecessary kindness. If no one messes with me, I won't mess with them first. If someone does mess with me, I will hunt them down and kill them no matter how far they run. Ah. He's a devil fruit user. No. I'm sorry, please don't kill me. Please spare us. We didn't do anything. Xiaoyue, the rule of the apocalypse is, pluck out the weeds by the roots. Now that we've made enemies of them, we have to eliminate all future risks. Gee, the people who insulted you are already dead. These people are innocent. Just let them go, please. Xiaoyu, this is what the apocalypse is like. Even a tiny conflict can blow up into a fight. Whenever there's a fight, it only ends when one side is injured or dead. In my past life, I thought killing only the people who had a problem with me was enough. I thought I was cold-blooded enough. But I still died because I was too soft-hearted for a moment. In this life, I'd rather be called a demon than show even a tiny bit of mercy ever again. We reached the spot Aoyue had sensed. It was the food storage warehouse of the factory canteen. I smashed it open violently with my bat. I found the devil fruit squished under a fruit crate at the bottom. It was still a type I didn't recognize. But when we just got to the factory gate, I saw that my car had already been stolen, even though Aoyue had taken the key with her. There are always people who know how to pick locks out there. I immediately transformed into a blue dragon, carried Aoyue on my back, and flew up. I spotted my car really quickly. The blue dragon dove straight down, flipped the car over with a single hit. Boss, please don't kill me, I'm begging you! We got back in the car. The usually playful Aoyue was quiet the whole ride back. She was really scared today by how ruthless and decisive I was. It was like I wasn't her brother anymore. Gah, you were so scary back there. Xiaoyue, remember, this is the apocalypse now. You can't trust anyone easily, except our own family. G, did you get reborn? What? G, did you get reborn? Fuck, did I let something slip? Why the hell is she asking that all of a sudden? You stockpiled so much food like crazy, and you told Mom to take leave and bring me home for sure. You were so sure about it. You must have known this would happen, and ever since you came back home, I felt like you were so strange to me, like you were a totally different person. I think there are only two reasons for this. Either you got reincarnated, or your body got snatched by someone else. When she said the last line, Aoyue's voice got lower and lower. She didn't dare look at me, scared her brother was no longer the original one. Oh! You dummy brother! Bro, I knew you'd never leave me behind. Bro, how did you die in your past life? Was I cool in your past life? What about our parents? Were they doing okay? All of you died in that life. But in this life, whoever dares to hurt any of you, I'll wipe out their entire bloodline. After we left the factory, we kept heading west. When we ran into hordes of zombies on the road, we'd get off the car to fight them. To practice hockey, I stopped using my Azure Dragon powers. Aoyue hasn't awakened her tyrant body yet. Her strength is still pretty weak. With the speed boost from the treasure rat, she can still fight zombies pretty easily. The two of us traveled west like this for 3 days. We didn't find any more devil fruits in these 3 days. That made Aoyue's initial excitement fade a bit. She even started to wonder if there was something wrong with her powers. But I told her, this is actually normal. In my past life, I lived through the second divine gift period. According to statistics from a powerful force, there were over 10,000 different ability users in total, though that's way more than the less than 100 devil fruits in the manga. But when you average it across the world's nearly 10 billion people, the fact that I got 5 devil fruits in just a few days is already super rare. Bro, let's go that way. Aoyue pointed at a small path beside the fork. I looked at the map in surprise. That path leads into the mountains. Quite a lot of people ran into the deep mountains in my past life. Though they avoided the mutated people, they also lost the chance to grow stronger and ended up dying in the woods. I feel like there's good stuff there. Aoyue wasn't too sure about it herself. After all, intuition is way too mysterious. But I trusted her a lot and immediately drove towards the mountains. There were no zombies blocking the road. We floored the gas and drove super fast. Aoyue propped her legs up on the front, swinging them back and forth, while munching on snacks and scrolling through videos and posts in the divine gift space. Hahaha, that's so funny. Bro, I just saw a post. Some guy didn't get a devil fruit, and he's complaining about it. Hey, what's that face for? Do you know who this complaining guy is? Whoever it is, It can't be that funny. It's Oda.
Huh?
Ha ha ha. That old thief Oda must be fuming right now, ha ha ha. You have no idea this post is going viral in the Divine Gift space right now. Some people even asked Oda to teach them hockey techniques. Turns out Oda said I'm just a comic artist. What the hell do I know about hockey, ha ha ha. Thinking back to my past life, Oda really didn't make a name for himself back then. Even though the Divine Gift used the world he created, it had nothing to do with the original author anymore. As it was getting dark, I planned to park the car by the road and rest for the night. We just turned around the foot of the mountain when I suddenly saw some lights ahead. Lights mean there are people around, but in the apocalypse, you can never trust strangers. I'm ruthless, yes, but I won't hurt innocent people for no reason. People's intentions are unpredictable in the apocalypse. It's too dangerous to ask to stay with strangers rashly. It's better to rest outside carefully. I parked the car by the road, using the light from ahead, and planned to spend the night right here. Aoyu took a set of camping gear from the back of the car and laid out a big tent on the ground. Though the apocalypse is dangerous, with me taking good care of her, Aoya isn't scared at all. She even finds it exciting. Bro, what's wrong? It's a lion roar. What's a lion roar? A lion roar is the roar of a zombie. But when have you ever heard a zombie roar? Zombies' bodies are decayed. Their vocal cords are rotted too, so they can't make any sound. But as zombies evolve, their bodies will gradually get repaired and slowly develop basic bodily functions, like being able to talk, but to make sounds. They need to be at least a 1-star zombie. 1 star. Newly turned zombies are just unranked zombies, nothing more, other than being a bit stronger and having harder bones. They're not hard to take down. Even regular people have a shot at killing them when they devour flesh and blood and fully repair their bodies. At that point, they get much faster and can even pull off human-like fighting moves. That's when they become 1-star zombies, also called flesh zombies. To take down a flesh zombie, you need to at least reach the copper skin realm. It's not safe here anymore. Get back in the car. I'll head up front to check things out. If it's just a flesh zombie, we're fine. But if it's a type 2 stiff zombie, we'll be in big trouble. I'm only at the copper skin realm right now anyway. To take on a stiff zombie, you need to reach the iron bone realm. But the apocalypse only started 5 or 6 days ago. Zombies shouldn't be evolving this fast. I sent Aoyue to the armored vehicle. After activating my dragon form, I grabbed my iron rod and headed toward where the roaring sound was coming from. When I got closer, I realized the place with the glowing light was a rundown Taoist temple called Leizu Temple. It's hidden in the mountains and so run down. Definitely not some commercialized tourist trap Taoist temple. That's why real Taoist priests live here. Ha ha ha. Help! Help! Someone help! Monster. I was totally dumbfounded. Such a big grown bald guy, and his mental fortitude is this weak. I lifted my foot to step into the temple. When the rundown wall of the main hall came crashing down, an old man with pitch black skin, wearing a Taoist robe, was madly pouncing on a person and biting them. Several dead victims were scattered across the ground. The scene was absolutely brutal. The old Taoist heard the noise and turned to look my way. The second our eyes met, I knew in my gut something was wrong. It's not a flesh zombie, it's a stiff zombie. Even when he was eating, his limbs were completely stiff and straight. His dry, withered hands were covered in sharp claws, and he had 4 sharp fangs in his mouth. Those are all classic stiff zombie traits. Stiff zombies form when flesh zombies evolve further and use massive amounts of zombie virus to strengthen their bodies, which ends up causing the virus to build up in their body before it's fully digested. The built-up virus makes the zombie's body stiff, but it also gives them skin like copper and bones like steel, making them super hard to kill. Good thing their weak spot is still their head. As long as you cut or smash their head off, you can still kill them for good. Wait, this place is so remote and rarely visited. Where would he get enough virus to evolve this far? The old stiff zombie Taoist had already thrown the half-eaten corpse he was holding to the side, then leaped up and pounced straight at me. Even though the stiff zombie's body was stiff, that single leap brought him right in front of me. I quickly lifted my baseball bat to block him. The zombie bit down hard, leaving 4 deep bite marks right on the bat. I spat a burst of hot breath right at the zombie's face, but it only burned off his hair and clothes. His skin was a bit charred, but he wasn't hurt badly at all. The old stiff zombie roared angrily, waved his sharp claws, and pounced at me again. Thunderclap 8 trigrams. Although it can't create a tremor effect, the baseball bat wrapped in electric current really did feel like the real Thunderclap 8 trigrams. With a loud bang, a faint bone-cracking sound followed. This zombie's skull was as hard as steel. This custom-made, thickened, weighted baseball bat snapped clean in half. And all I managed to do was put a tiny crack in his skull, that's it. The old stiff zombie roared again, his stinking sharp fangs bared as he bit toward my neck. Ah! Bro. Xiaoyu, burrow underground. Wait till I kill him to come out. I thought it was just a flesh zombie. Who knew it was a 2-star stiff zombie? These zombies have insane strength, copper skin and steel bones. Even human armored vehicles can't block their attacks. Aoyue knew she couldn't help, so she quickly turned into her treasure rat form and burrowed underground fast. I was already a bit winded by this point. Using heat suction twice in a row and pouring out so much lightning power made my stamina drain really fast. And that blow just now also jolted, my blood and energy roiling inside me. The zombie Taoist leaped again, rapidly closing the distance between us. His 10 withered black fingers were like sharp claws, stabbing straight at me. I roared loudly. I grabbed the zombie's wrists with my dragon claws, and we started to wrestle against each other. Even though this zombie is a 2-star level, in theory, only humans at the Ironbone realm can fight it evenly. But with my Azure Dragon enhanced physique, I actually managed to stand off against the zombie for a moment. We were both straining with all our might. The zombie leaned in again to bite me. I made a ruthless call in my head. I ducked my head down and rammed the dragon horn on my head into its forehead. The dragon horn is pretty sharp, and it slammed right into its eye socket. The zombie roared in pain. Its head was badly injured. If a normal creature took this hit, it would definitely be dead already. But zombies don't feel pain. It tilted its head back and pulled its head off the dragon horn, then let out a furious roar, and its arms actually bent slightly. My eye twitched. The reason zombies have stiff limbs is that zombie virus builds up in their bodies. Once they fully absorb and integrate this zombie virus, their limbs will regain flexibility again. Right now, this zombie's arms are slightly bent, which means it's speeding up the absorption and integration of the zombie virus. I can't keep stalemating like this. I let out a roar and threw the zombie's arms off me. I transformed into the Azure Dragon and soared into the sky. My dragon tail slammed down instantly, sending the zombie stumbling. A bolt of lightning struck down, charring its body even worse. Evil wind. Even with the zombie's copper skin and iron bones, countless cuts were torn into its body as wind and clouds churned. The Azure Dragon dove down, grabbed the zombie's arms with its dragon claws, and lifted it up. The zombie, unsteady from the evil wind, couldn't use its full strength, so it was directly carried up into the sky by the Azure Dragon. I roared again. I squeezed hard with my dragon claws, trying to rip the zombie straight in half. But the zombie was also pulling inward with all its might, and I couldn't tear it apart no matter what. My cultivation level is still too low. After transforming into the Azure Dragon, I can suppress the zombie, but killing it is really not easy. What's more, in just this short time, I'm already feeling like I'm running out of energy. If I just fly in dragon form, I can last a lot longer, but I can't keep fighting for very long. I soared up into the clouds again. I flung the zombie in my claws down hard toward the ground. With a deafening boom, the zombie's body slammed right into the main hall of the Taoist temple and hit the tall god statue enshrined inside. But how could a clay statue hold up against the zombie's hard body? It was immediately smashed into countless pieces. The zombie crashed hard to the ground, its body covered in bruises and cuts, but it still didn't fall down. I landed on the ground right after and transformed back into human form, gasping heavily for air. This is my first time fighting at full power in Azure Dragon form. It's really strong for sure, but for my current level, it's still way too taxing. Kaido is strong because he's already a being that can wipe out an entire country alone. The Azure Dragon Fruit just makes him even stronger. I, on the other hand, rely entirely on the Azure Dragon Fruit, so the power I can put out is nowhere near his level. Bro, have some meat. Sure, hand it over. My stamina recovered a bit, Meanwhile, the zombie Taoist had already gotten back up. I transformed into the half-human, half-beast form again, and covered my dragon claws with armament haki to fight the zombie head-on. With the double protection of armament haki and dragon scales, I can effectively block the zombie virus from invading my body. But if I keep fighting like this, I'll get worn out and die. I need a weapon. After another clash, I retreated quickly. But going into the God-given space right now, to exchange for a weapon is already too late. Besides, Aoyue doesn't have enough points either. Just as I was thinking of a countermeasure, I caught a glimpse of something next to the broken statue clay chunks. An iron rod had fallen there. I suddenly remembered this is the Thunder Ancestor Temple. This bamboo-shaped iron rod was exactly the steel whip held by the enshrined Thunder Ancestor statue. This thing is at least sturdier than a baseball bat, right? I dashed over there and picked up the bamboo section steel whip from the ground. Since the statue was so tall, this steel whip is also extra thick and long. The length of common whip and mace weapons usually doesn't exceed 80 centimeters, but this one is a full 1.2 meters long. Its shaft is also much thicker and feels way heavier in hand. With my current strength, it actually fits perfectly. I'd just picked up this bamboo-node steel whip. When the zombie Taoist lunged at me again, his body was already torn to shreds, but his attacks were still super ferocious. I used up every last bit of my strength to release the most violent electric current. Lightning and armament haki were fully wrapped around this bamboo-node steel whip. I slammed it hard straight at the zombie Taoist's forehead. The massive recoil shattered the scales on my palm, but the zombie Taoist's head was also smashed to pieces under this whip strike. After landing this full power blow, I exited my human beast form. I couldn't hold the heavy bamboo-node steel whip anymore, so I dropped it on the ground. I felt sore and weak all over my body. Aoyue, who was underground, heard the fight stop. She carefully showed up from a distance. When she saw me sitting slumped on the ground, gasping, she hurried over to bring me shui meat and fresh water. After resting for a little while, we two went into the broken Taoist temple to check around. The bald guy we first saw at the entrance was already dead from the fight's aftershocks. The hall was full of broken god statues and overturned items. Several victims' corpses were lying on the ground. The back hall was where the old Taoist used to live. When the main hall collapsed, this was the only place that stayed intact. It should be safe here now. Let's rest here for today. I drove the armored vehicle to the entrance, to block the gate, to keep other people or zombies from getting in. I grabbed a stool and sat outside the yard. I looked up at the night sky. A thought suddenly crossed my mind. I sent my consciousness into the God-given space. Since you are the first to kill a star-level zombie, you will receive one reward. Also, since you killed a star-level zombie within 10 days of the apocalypse starting, reward grade upgraded. Also, since you directly killed a 2-star zombie, reward grade upgraded again. Please choose one from the following 3 titles. Titles? My spirits perked up right away. Just like the talent I chose the first time. Titles are also extremely rare and hard to get. At least in my past life, I worked so hard for so long and never got any title. Title 1, Zombie Slayer. Permanently doubles damage dealt to zombies. Title 2, Bounty Hunter. Permanently doubles points earned from killing zombies. Title 3, God-given member. Become a distinguished God-given space member. You will get 190% off redemption chance. Also, all items you redeem in the God-given space will enjoy a 20% discount. Oh my god, all 3 titles are so tempting. Kill faster or earn more points. At first glance, killing faster seems better, because if you kill faster, you'll naturally earn more points anyway. Plus, you get the chance to challenge stronger zombies. But neither of these is as good as Title 3, God-given member. 190% off redemption chance. Permanent 20% off privilege. The 2 exclusive redemption options, the invisible black bloodline factor and the demonization potion, that removes devil fruit side effects. Both cost 100 million points. With 90% off, you can get one for only 10 million points. Plus, everything you redeem is 20% off. I can totally be a middleman with this privilege and earn a ton of points. No need to hesitate at all. I directly chose option 3, God-given member. Then I checked my personal panel. Name, Aoxing, talent. Hockey genius. Title, God-given member. Devil fruit. Fish fruit. Azure dragon form. Realm, body tempering, copper skin. Equipment, laser whip, tail. Points, 9,655. I suddenly noticed something in the equipment column. Lizu whip. I glanced at the bamboo node steel whip next to me. That was the object held by Lezu, enshrined in Lezu's coffin. But it's just an ordinary item after all. How come it's counted as equipment? And there's a tail label, too. The baseball bat I used before helped me kill so many zombies. It never got counted as equipment. I put the bamboo node whip on my lap and examined it carefully. Why is this thing so special? This steel whip was completely covered in rust. It must have gone through countless years. Maybe it was even worshipped by thousands of people before. It has 18 sections in total. Each section is also engraved with Taoist runes that I can't understand. I stared at it for a long time. Still couldn't find anything special about it. But when I used this thing to hit that zombie Taoist old man, it worked really well. My points are also almost 10,000 now. Should I get that fruit of Xiao Yui's appraised? I stroked my chin, deep in thought. Appraising a devil fruit costs 1,000 points per time. That doesn't sound like much for me. But there's no rush anyway. I don't need that fruit right now anyway. We can handle this after I get back. After making my choice, I entered the God-given space again. This time I headed to the communication channel and entered the family group I created myself. First, I let my parents know I was safe. Then I asked how things were going at home. Something pretty big actually happened at home today. The Chen father and son from upstairs found out we had stored food and came to borrow some. Only Mom and Liu Xiao were home at the time. Dad and Meng Kui were downstairs fighting zombies. Mom was originally kind enough to give them some. But when the two saw our apartment, full of daily supplies, their eyes literally turned red. On top of that, they coveted Liu Xiao's beauty. These two even planned to kill Mom directly, to take the supplies and the beauty for themselves. Luckily, Liu Xiao had her guard up. Plus, after training hockey, even though she hasn't awakened it yet, her physique has already improved drastically. So when they attacked, she killed them instead. Mom got a huge scare back then, even though she had killed a few zombies before. This was the first time she saw someone get killed. Oh, right. I remember old Chen also has a wife and a daughter. Where are they? Boss, I already killed them. When he heard Zhang Hong was attacked, he got a huge fright. I promised you, boss, that I wouldn't let your parents get hurt. So the furious him immediately kicked open the door of the Chen family's apartment upstairs. Meng Kui's decisiveness and ruthlessness shocked me. He's not like me. He hasn't lived through the apocalypse before, yet he can be this decisive. Good job. I didn't say thank you. I just gave him a compliment. I know how a person in charge should act in the apocalypse. Boss, I already checked. In this building, except for our family, there are no other survivors left. I plan to get some building materials tomorrow to block off the hallway and build some defense works. All right, be careful. I agreed with Meng Kui's idea. Only then did I ask about the two's family situations. Meng Kui's mother was in poor health. After the zombie virus outbreak, he sent her to the hospital while she was unconscious. But she turned into a zombie when the apocalypse hit and bit Meng Kui's father to death right away. Meng Kui escaped in a panic. He got in his car and tried to escape the city. So he has no attachments now that he's pledged loyalty to me and came to Bian City. Liu Xiao is different from him. She has a rural household registration. She got into college on her own scholarship. She's very smart. She knows how to use her advantages to get money from men, but she never lets those men actually have her. Xiao, your brother is getting married. The bride's side demands a house for the marriage. You just bought this apartment. Transfer the ownership to your brother first, okay? Exactly. You're the older sister. You have to help your brother out. I won't do that. You ungrateful girl. Think you're all grown up and don't need us anymore, huh? I fed you, clothed you, and paid for your college. Is this how you repay me? You shameless little bitch. How could you afford an apartment this young? This apartment must have been obtained by improper means. Let's go. When they dragged her to transfer the property ownership, the apocalypse broke out. She escaped in the chaos. She has no idea where her parents and brother are now. Of course, she doesn't care if they're alive or dead anymore. I've already cut ties with them. Whether they live or die is none of my business anymore. From now on, I only belong to you, Master. I'll do anything for you. I sighed with mixed feelings. The apocalypse is ruthless. If they hadn't met me, they would most likely be dead by now. Hiding safely at home during the apocalypse has a far higher survival rate than fleeing out of the city. Do your jobs well? I won't treat you badly. Then I told them about everything I saw and experienced along the way. I also told them to watch out for evolved zombies. After I ended the call, I chatted with Aoyue for a while. I checked the God-given space communication channel to see if there was any new news. Then I fell asleep. A small figure quietly appeared outside the Taoist temple. Master,